This pear is supposedly Burr the Ehrenberg. The way I got this pear is actually a pretty interesting story. I came across this guy at our REI store. We were just shopping for pants, and we just started talking randomly about fruits. And he was like, there's this really big old pear tree in someone's yard out in Washington on the coast, just west of Mount Vernon. And so he sent me a pin of the location, and I drove down there. I got scion wood from the tree. I grafted it a few years ago, and now I have this pear. So this was picked about 2 weeks ago, and it ripened on the counter, and now I'm about to taste it. It's really soft and buttery flesh, and extremely juicy. There's just so much juice in this. Very sweet, very aromatic pear flavor. I recommend this pear. Anybody that wants to grow a nice mid-season pear. It doesn't keep, but it'll ripen around this time. Basically, you can pick it around September and eat it before October. But wow, what a surprisingly good pear. That's delicious. Now, the next thing I want to taste today is a Ukrainian variety called Rymyaniy Alpinist. I have one branch grafted of this variety, and I'm just gonna pick one of the smaller apples, even though there's larger ones here that are a good size. Good size apple right there. Well, let's see what this tastes like. Pretty intense flavor. It's not a polite apple, that's for sure. Very interesting texture, because the apple is not really crunchy, but the skin is kind of hard to break through, so it sounds like it's crunchy, but the flesh is actually pretty soft. But it does taste good. I'm just not a big fan of the texture being soft on apples. I don't know what it is. I'm fine with pears, you know, when they're soft and buttery. I don't know, with the pear is just different. But in an apple, I just like it to be really crunchy and breaking flesh. But if you can get past that, the flavors of this apple are really good. It has sugars, acids, and some other flavors in there that are kind of hard to describe, but it does taste pretty good. We have the Spitzenburg apple. This is my Spitzenburg, and I've grafted some other varieties onto this. Let's see if I can pick one out and taste it. It's September 20th. Supposedly these are supposed to keep. I don't know, we'll see. It's definitely a harder type of flesh, so it probably will keep. A surprisingly the flavor is a little bit more mild than I expected after tasting the Rymyaniy Alpinist. Spitzenburg does taste good, has a pretty good balance of sugar and acid. Yeah, very, very good apple. Nice and crunchy. Pretty good apple. We've already tasted Oval Early Fuji. Maybe I'll taste it again. Here's one that looks like needs to come off because it's got some issues, but let's taste Oval Early Fuji again. Oh wow. So it's a very little acid, actually, a really sweet apple now. It's not very crunchy at this point. Maybe I just let it hang too long. But the flesh is really, really sweet. Just like a very rich Fuji flavor with very little acid. Wow, that's good. Just stacking all my samples here. See how green the Spitzenburg is compared to some of the other ones. Rymyaniy Alpinist. That's pretty good. A lot more acid in that one. And now I want to taste this one. Almatinsky Sinap. It's an elongated type of apple. And there's some long ones in here. Look at this. Isn't that cool? Look at that. It's not a small apple either. Pick one. Beautiful apple. Almatinsky Sinap. It's crunchy. It has acid and sugar. Not as crunchy as Rymyaniy from yesterday, but it does have a snap to it. It does break off pretty cool. Really good flavor. I say it's a little bit lower on the acid side, but it does have a good balance. I like it. This is still a Sweet 16 hanging. A couple more Sweet 16s hanging here. I like to pick the ones that have defects for tasting because I normally only take a couple bites when I do all the tastings because there's so many to taste. You can't eat them all. That's the beauty of having such an abundance is, you know, you get to throw your half-eaten apples to the chickens if you don't want to finish them, because there's just so much out there to try. Oh wow, a very distinct anise flavor and aroma coming from the Sweet 16 at this point. September 20th, if you can let your Sweet 16s hang this long, has a nice yellow flesh to it. It's juicy, it's slightly crunchy, And this one is just bursting with flavors. If you don't like very strong apple flavors that are in your face, then don't plant this apple. But if you like just very rich apples that are in your face and bursting with flavors, then you should try Sweet 16, because it just has so many flavors in there, it's hard to describe. Anise, cherry, apple, is just bursting with flavor. Wow. I mean, every single bite, you just want to chew on it and get all the flavors out. Can't say enough about Sweet 16. But again, you don't want a lot of these trees because the apple won't keep and they fall to the ground prematurely. This is not something that you want to plant an entire orchard of, but it's nice to have one tree like this just to experience the flavors. Definitely worth it. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon in the near future.